gon' give it to you. Wait for you to get it on your own. X gon' deliver to you. Knock, knock, open up.
I have not washed this car, and it's been like this since 1994, I think it was. It's 25 years of it sitting outside. It's rained, it's got oxidation in the paint, but I learned this cool little trick from Derek at Vice Grip Garage, and just grab the SOS pads right here, and then do a nice scrubbing on it. It should be, I think, a quadruple zero on those stainless wool pads. Steel wool pads, that's it. And it'll get a lot of the oxidation out of the paint. It's going to get a lot of the rust and stuff off the roof. And then I will take some sort of polishing compound with a polishing wheel that I have there. We'll give it a real good buff. And I think at the very end of that, you use a boiled linseed oil. If this paint does not react well to boiled linseed oil, I'll just use a regular wax, and that should help preserve it pretty nicely. Okay, that's it. Today is going to be washing, and then the next work day, I will have Nick coming over, and he and me are going to begin tearing apart Amy right there. Okay, also, if you haven't seen the video on the 240, watch that. Let's get to it. Do it. To it. Just made a few on the carburetor screws, and well, she runs a whole lot better now. All right, why don't we have ourselves a look here, and we'll see how this paint's done over the last 25, 26 years. These look like scuffs from a bush or a cat fight. You can see it was a real nice flake at some point. This is the original green shining through in these holes. I'm still debating removing all the trim because I could put new clips on it, or I might just polish around them. I see there's no paint here, no paint there. The roof's pretty oxidized. I got overspray. Let's see if we can get rid of that. A little bit of dimple in there. Some cellulose, never hurt nobody. We're all about body positivity here. And I'm pretty positive she's gonna look so good. So good. And this is chips. These are all chips in the paint where the primer's showing through. Very good. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to undo that. We'll have holes in the door, but that's no problemo. I will cover the corners up because there will be water coming through there, but the first step is to wash it really nicely, and that'll get all the loose dirt off. I don't want to etch anything that we don't need to, because I do want to clean it up as best as possible. I'm not trying to make a show car out of this paint job. I just want it to be even and, more importantly, protected so that it doesn't get more gray as time goes by. So start off with a nice soap and water, and then we'll move over to the SOS pads. From the SOS pads, ideally we would have a pressure washer. Look at that, there's 2 mirror holes. Darn it. Anyway, if I had a pressure washer, it would get a lot of this off on its own, but it's just not arrived yet, let's say that. And I'll probably remove these, and we'll see what the paint looks like underneath when it's all purdy and protected, because there's actually no lights on there. These are the early chassis, just had reflectors. Again, chassis 5,000. Chassis 10,000, and this has lights and chrome rings. It may have been a chassis number difference, or it may have been an option, but there's no lights on these. Let's get to prep. This thing looks so cool without the bumper. It also looks like a piece of junk right now, just because all the fading and the rusty and all crooked trunk. Still got to pull the license plate. This thing is going to be so much nicer when it's all cleaned up, because I don't need people complaining about the condition that it's in, making the neighborhood look bad. I should probably take off the emblems too. We gotta be very careful with that. Sorry? Hey guys.
Hi! How are you?
I'm doing well. What's up?
It's good to see you!
Yeah, you too.
Take care!
Yeah, enjoy the sunset too.
When you finish with that one, you can start mine too.
Oh, sure. I'll give you a good deal.
Take care, okay?
I'm not really sure who that was. Yeah, I'm being too gentle. Let's see how this side dries. And yeah, it's getting dark. But... It's a lot smoother, but I was hoping it would come out a little clearer. It looks like you see some thin spots in the paint. I haven't done much of the left, but I did really go heavy on that right corner, which is good results, but I don't want to do this where I don't have to. Haven't done this side yet. But have a look-see over here. It's an improvement. Looks like there's still some vertical spots here that I'd like to clean up. But boy, she's smooth now. Real nice. Not glass. It's not clear coat smooth, but yeah, you can see some spots there where I went a little heavy. None of the paint splatter came off. It's really on there. And I was very careful not to go the wrong way on these chips and have them dip themselves in the salsa, you know? I do see some fine swirl marks and scratches from the steel wool. That's normal. A little abrasive here, but really smooth right here. A good rich color versus the silver. Okay, the roof's gonna be a really nice one. A good challenge. I did start here because this is the lowest consequence panel, and I guess you can't go too rough on the bare metal to get rid of some of that rusting. CLR might work too if I applied a little bit there. You know, best case scenario, we get a nice green like this. Worst case scenario, some gray remains. But look at this. Ooh. She's not happy there under the reflector. I don't know what to do about that. I think I might have to put the reflectors back. But the other side's pretty good. Shucks, the other side's perfect. We'll see how what looks to be the clear coat, if that was ever any, blends in with the base. And this is interesting because it looks like a second coat of green over the green. Huh, nowhere else has that. Everything else is this. If you get through your first coat, she gone. maybe it was damaged. Let me get some more sunscreen on and we'll do this. Let's take a walk around and I'll show you how it looks after the scrubby-dubby-bubble guppies. And there are some spots that I'm sure could be scrubbed even more and some spots that were scrubbed too much. All these streaks that you're seeing in the paint are from the water and the dirt. You know, I can wipe them off. They're not permanent water stains. And it looks like I did frost the glass entirely with hard water from the hose. Ugh. Quality is bad of the water, but the paint has cleaned up quite nicely. I'm really happy with those results. Let's see, some spots where it thinned out right here. But it looks like the majority of the faded paint has been taken off. You see a little bit on the right here, and that's what it's intended to look like after. And then the waxing or the buffing compound will take care of the rest, followed by a wax to protect it. I did go pretty hard in the channels here because, you know, thankfully we got some primer, but then there is, as you see here, bare metal. I don't want to deal with more rust later on. And I just peeled back all the flaky paint everywhere that I at least was able to, or at least whatever caught my steel wool SOS pads. Okay. Yeah, so we don't want rotted rain gutters, but really the worst of the rust is the inside lip of the trunk here. So I will definitely show you what's going on in there. This still has a lot of texture to it. You can see it's pretty gnarly. The color of the rust, if I kept going and going and going, yeah, eventually I could get down to bare metal the same way that the roof here has. I might go over this one more time, because I don't want any rust color showing through. I don't mind it being a little more bare like that. But yeah, it's difficult because of how dirty it is right now to really appreciate what it's going to be. But the time lapse has made a lot of that clear, especially with the rear panel here. That actually got rid of a lot of rust color on the surface. So I'm very happy with that. This is the best example of what the paint looked like when it was new. Love that color. I did take some of the larger flakes with me. I'm going to keep those so I can match this with something else. All right, looks like I did get some of the clear coat. I think that's what it is that has faded off there. I got it off on this side, but I got to hit this a little stronger. There is a little bit of rust down at the butt cheek. It's not gone all the way through, but it is starting to bubble, and then the stuff that did go through is underneath. So, see there's a pool of water around the drain plug. Irony of ironies. But look at the rust. There's part of the panel that has fallen off. So really this trunk is not, you know, anything is an improvement over what it is, but it's not something that's a final solution. It'll get replaced at some point. Now, as for the aluminum, when I went to clean that up on the door jambs, you know, it was nice to get this with both doors open, but the SOS pads are not quadruple zero. They're just like a 3 or maybe even 2-0 steel wool pad. So they do put scratches and things like this. Or something else will be a better option, like the quadruple zero. And that'll also be really good for getting the glass clean, as well as all this trim, because we can make her shine like a diamond. I think so. Anyway, it's a nice improvement. I did end up peeling the paint that has the rust underneath, because all that's going to do is grow and threaten to get worse. So I'm keeping this under a close eye. It might mean that I put the reflector back on just to cover it up. I'd rather see a reflector than a rusty patch. And as I had speculated, yeah, this side was repainted here. We got 2 coats of green on top of each other. I wish that were the case elsewhere, because we'd have a much stronger, better paint, but it is what it is. See, there's a little bit of high spots there. You see the shadows on them. I want that gone, but I don't want to eat up the paint too much. The hood's probably the best panel. Oh, look who's here. This R, he just put it together. I'm gonna show it from a distance, okay? Yeah. 6-speed and the pumpkin orange. Yes! How are you?
I'm doing alright.
Yeah? And the HIDs work. Okay, that's enough R.
We gonna rock, then we gonna fall, then we let it pop, don't let it go. Come on, X gon' give it to you, he gon' give it to you.
If you can tell, circle here on the left, that's wax. Circle here on the right is new finish. Much difference? I don't know. There. The wax is easier to apply. Well, let's do that. I think that looks... There we go. Phew, you blink and it's midnight. 5 hours just went by like that. And let me tell you, folks, she is thirsty. It took me half a tub of lotion to get this thing going. I mean, the top half is drier than Betty White's back. The bottom half, that's where all the shine is naturally. And the first thing I tried was Comet with making a paste out of it. Didn't work out. And then the next thing I tried was this here. I went to the store and picked up a polishing compound. I thought it was going to be like a rubbing compound. Turns out it's not. So, but then the stubbornness again hits. And I started doing the thing where I was like, all right, well, I'm here, so may as well keep going, see what we can get. And without a serious commitment of time, as if I haven't already put one in, I don't think we're going to get a lot more shine out of her. I'll show you in the morning with the sunlight. Honestly, I think cleaning the windows will make the biggest difference here. This wax the last 2 days didn't seem to really do much. Okay, this is the best corner. Why don't we start here? See that? She's got a little shine in her. Yeah. The lower half's nice. You can see a little bit of reflection here.
There we go.
And then it gets real flat up top, of course. That's where all the damage is. I think my only solution now is to wet sand. Okay, the bottom here is pretty shiny where the bumper came in and kept that in the shade, more or less. The same thing here, where it's in the shade. The rust is gone, it's treated. It's actually real smooth. You could almost eat off of that. Got to get some of the wax paste off, but those white spots should go away in time. A little bit of shine came out here. You can see a little bit of shine there. The roof patina is also preserved. Got rid of most of the amber colors from the... Oh, look at that. That's what happens when you wax in the dark. Okay. See, definitely ate through the paint right there, so I know that there's not much on the top of the doors. And, you know, what am I going to do? Wet sand and cut through everything? Oh, look at that. Oops. But really what I want is the hood to be the number one gun here. And you can see it's shiny, flat, a little shine, back to flat, a little shine, back to flat. The radii are the ones that made it pretty. You see these little like marks in the paint? Couldn't get it out with the steel wool without threatening to cut through it. Right there is probably the best example. But there's some shine under it, so that tells me that this is all clear coat that we're looking at. So I do want to color sand through there. Shiny, flat, shiny, flat, shiny, flat. Yeah. Otherwise, happiest with the bottom corners, naturally. Wow, there's a lot of wax that I left on here.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh boy.
Oops.
All right, well, Nick's here to help me, and we're gonna work on interior work today. We're gonna just swap over the perfect dashboard and the perfect seats from Amy into Ivy, or at the very least pull them out. You know what my favorite part is? I don't think Nick knows this yet.
No, tell me.